So guys, I think we've just seen the word, and I mean the worst call in the history of sport. I think we actually might have just seen the worst call in the entire history of sport. And like, this is a shock. That is actually not Dejanay Carrington committing a flagrant foul.
One of the WNBA's most contentious personalities at the moment is DJ Carrington. And believe me, her narrative just became much more intriguing following the events of the July 26th Dallas Wings vs Golden State Valkyries game, in what may be the most ironic turn of the 2025 WNBA season. DJ has finally received a taste of her own medicine after creating headlines for all the wrong reasons.
That call on DJ when Tiffany literally flew over her, wild. And then if you saw Paige's face when it was like, I think like 55 seconds left on the clock or something like that, and the coach was like giving them the next play, bruh.
Although the WNBA as a whole has been beset by officiating problems, Carrington had somehow escaped receiving any genuinely ridiculous calls. On July 26th, everything changed as the story took a different turn and she finally experienced the pain of the league's most perplexing officiating.
Look, Nora play like she's 35. Okay, she be bringing it to them girls each and every night. She got that, acting like that face harness, okay, like her face, her eyes, her nose, whatever that is. She be look like a dominatrix to me. I'd be like, bro, who is that? She looks like, it's giving Scarecrow, or like a Black Raven vibe, okay, like a hawk. And she looks like a bird of prey, okay? And that's how she plays. She plays bird of prey, while the other girls in the court are just worms to her. They are bird food because she be cooking and eating everybody.
Subscribe if you're enjoying it. Janelle Saloun's deep three missed with less than 2 minutes remaining, causing a scramble with Dallas behind by 3 points. After chasing the rebound, Carrington judiciously withdrew, allowing the ball to roll out and giving Dallas control. Wise warning. Then there was mayhem. Running at full speed, Tiffany Hayes slammed into the now immobile Carrington from behind, sending both players sprawling on the ground. It appeared to be a foul on Hayes by any measure.
The ball gets swung, Janelle Salon shoots the ball. It's coming out, it's coming out, it's coming out. So, Dejanay Carrington is just shielding the ball out of bounds. She just shields the ball out of bounds, as you do. And Tiffany Hayes tackles her to the ground. Tackles her to the ground.
Even seasoned WNBA watchers were taken aback when the refs, for whatever reason, called Carrington's foul. I'll say it again because it's so absurd that it needs to be said again. Tiffany Hayes collided with a DJ who was stationary at full speed. The officials somehow determined that Carrington was the one who committed the foul when he knocked her to the ground. Even those who couldn't stand Carrington were acknowledging that the PAH officials made a poor decision since it was so blatantly incorrect.
I'm like, what is this? I mean, she almost did it freaking Dejanay. I thought like I was really gravely concerned for Dejanay Carrington's life and health. I'm like, did y'all not just see Tiffany Hayes just throw her body up against her and her to the ground? This is crazy. Literally slammed her. Dejanay got pushed into a freaking old white man because of Tiffany Hayes jumping on her like she ain't got no sense.
This is where the plot really picks up steam and the karma element truly shines through. Ordinarily, WNBA supporters would have been incensed at such a poor call right away. Such a blatant officiating error would have infuriated players, experts, and casual spectators alike. There would have been an abundance of social media posts expressing disapproval of the referees and pity for the player who was let down. However, DJ Carrington isn't just any player and wasn't an ordinary situation. The fan response was harsh and quick, but not in the manner you might anticipate.
Dejanay winds up and smacks her across the head, and Skylar is on the ground having a hard time getting up. But this was something where people are saying, okay, Dejanay, this is happening a little bit too much for my liking. These hard fouls, these reckless plays are happening a little bit too much, and I want to show you guys one more play that was also that game that actually injured Gabby Williams. Now, if you watch here, Gabby Williams is going up for a mid-range jumper. Dejanay jumps to try to block her, and she comes down to where Gabby Williams doesn't have enough length landing space. So she lands landing space, and then Gabby Williams rolls her.
On social media, the sentiment was clear. After witnessing Carrington repeatedly commit egregious fouls, poke Caitlin Clark in the eye, and overall use what they saw to be shady tactics, fans suddenly felt a sense of accomplishment. People left comments like, "Karma finally caught up with her, and now she knows how it feels." The response was so consistent that it formed a narrative unto itself. A player who had been truly harmed by officiating was receiving virtually no pity from the basketball world due to her own prior behavior. It was the ideal illustration of how, even in cases where an individual is the victim of injustice,
Once again, Dejanay Ratchet, as Carrington is back at it again, being the dirty player that she is, man. So now we're pulling players to the floor by their hair. What did we tweet earlier this week, everybody? Y'all fans swear I'm such a dirty player. I'm all over this narrative. But I just play hard as fuck, and I just make a play on ball, and I'm tired of people calling me a dirty...
reputation and prior actions may skew public opinion. Hayes struck her from behind as he charged at full speed. Carrington never made contact or moved, but somehow received a foul call. It ought to have been a no call or a foul on Hayes by all standards and reasoning. Even Golden State supporters who stood to gain from the ruling found it difficult to justify the call since it was so poor. In addition to the fact that it cost their team possession at a pivotal moment, Dallas fans were understandably incensed since it embodied every flaw in WNBA officiating.
It's Dallas ball. But do you know what another referee called? Do you know what another referee called? So one says it's Dallas ball. Another referee, as you can see right here, Salon miss, Valkyrie's rebound. Apparently Tiffany Hayes the rebound. And Dejan fouled Tiffany Hayes. Apparently, Tiffany Hayes got the rebound and got fouled by jumping on Dejanay Carrington.
The entire momentum of the game changed. Golden State took possession of what should have been Dallas ball, and the Valkyries won by a margin of 10 points. No one who was paying attention failed to notice the exquisite irony of the whole scenario. Without a foul being called or the league taking any action, Carrington had prodded Caitlin Clark in the eye. She had made several egregious mistakes that were later overturned after an appeal. She had set up circumstances that needed referees and security to step in.
Damn, I didn't think it was this bad. She played for 15 minutes, if it was longer. She had 4 points, 1 assist, and rebounds. I'm gonna tell you why we should have won, okay? When it comes to biggest lead, the Dallas Wings had 12-point lead, a 12-point lead, whereas the Golden State Valkyries 2, they had 10 points over us at the most in this game. 12.
She had somehow managed to escape being the victim of the officiating lottery that had been hurting other players throughout the season. However, karma eventually caught up to her on July 26th in the most ideal manner. Nor could the timing have been more ideal. This incident occurred in a close game where every possession counted during a season in which Dallas needed every victory. To stay afloat, a player can usually rely on at least some degree of public support when they are mistreated by the referee.
Look! Pulling players to the floor by their hair is not making plays on the ball. This is not basketball. WNBA. When is she gonna get fined, suspended, or kicked out of the league for this reckless behavior? This is the 4th incident. The Lynx incident, taking out Ariel Atkins, taking out Skylar Diggins, and now LA Sparks. When is it gonna stop? When is accountability gonna be taken for her being the dirty player and ratchet that she is?
3. The call may be criticized by fans. Social media may rally around the wrong player, and commentators may dissect the play to highlight the official's errors. Neither of those things applied to DJ Carrington. She caused this herself, but the overwhelming response was basically that it was awful to be her.
Well, it doesn't matter how many times Dejanay Carrington wants to get on her social media and want to claim that she's the victim and that she's not a player. the league has rescinded fouls. Yeah, it's rescinding flagrant fouls on you because it's run by a bunch of cows. They're flagrant fouls. They're dirty play. They're trashy plays. Someone's going to get very physically injured. At this point, Dejanay Carrington, forget it. You won't beat these allegations.
It was the ideal illustration of how previous deeds can influence present opinions, especially in cases where the victim of an injustice is the victim. It indicates that the league has lost some credibility with fanbase when supporters are more interested in watching a player be screwed over by poor refereeing than they are in condemning the officiating itself.
Like, that might be, like, that is the worst call I've ever seen in basketball. That is actually the worst call I've ever seen in basketball. She just threw her. Like, she knew. Like, it is what it is. People will shield or get in the way of the ball and stand there. She just jumped over. Worst case scenario, it's an over the back foul. Worst case scenario, it's an over the back. Like, at least a foul on Tiffany Hayes, if not a
itself. The event also shows how specific players can serve as lightning rods for more general league annoyances. Carrington was a prime target for fans who were about what they perceived as a lack of accountability in the WNBA because of her reputation for playing physically and occasionally dangerously. From a competitive perspective, the league's capacity to uphold the integrity of its competition is called into.
Of course they're rescinding the fouls. That's what the league does. All right? Look, people can tell the difference between physical play and dirty play. And now there's a long list of evidence. Look, at this point, Dejanay Carrington should have been fined multiple times over. Of course they will. Now we're gonna hit flagrant, and then behind the scenes we're cool. We're gonna rescind the flagrant.
To doubt. Given that calls this terrible may occur during pivotal moments in close games, the whole purpose of professional basketball is undermined if spectators begin to think that biased or inept referees can decide games. What is DJ Carrington's next move? Although her detractors found satisfaction in the July 26th karma moment, it doesn't allay valid worries about her playstyle or her interactions with referees and opponents. If anything, it could act as a reminder of how her reputation is influencing her position within the league. In actuality, Carrington is a gifted athlete who worked hard and made genuine progress to earn her Most Improved Athlete award. Her offensive growth over the last several seasons has been remarkable, and her defensive abilities are sincere. Fair play. Her karma moment coincided with a season in which Clark remained the league's star and most watched athlete, which is appropriate. A no call that might have resulted in a foul had been given to Clark. Furthermore, Carrington was the victim of a call that most clearly wasn't a foul. It was the epitome of poetic justice.